Gaffy, I'll go. Ash here from Channel 10. Just looked like a bit of a lighter session out on the track today for a few of you. How you're all feeling, for those that played in the Derby and also those that have just come out of health and safety protocols?
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge for us, obviously, at the moment, but I think a lot of the guys, especially the older guys, are sort of on programs that have been set from the start of the year. So a lot of us don't do a great deal probably Monday or Tuesday, but as the week goes on, we'll start doing quite a bit more. So that's all pretty normal. And with the I guess the COVID guys returning from COVID, I think each scenario is pretty different. Some guys pulling up better than others, and we've been managing that for the last couple of weeks, and I'm sure there'll probably be some of that for a little while ahead. But I think we're doing a pretty good job in making sure that all those guys are as good as they can be, whether it's for training or whether it's games at the earliest time possible.
Nick Nat, obviously one of those guys that came back in on the weekend. Have you checked in with him as to how he's feeling? I imagine it must have been pretty testing coming out of protocols and having to back up with the game.
Yeah, I think he's fine. Yeah, I mean he's a guy that probably doesn't play a huge amount of minutes for us regardless, and I'm not entirely sure, I guess, the individual circumstances of how all those guys went and how they felt with that week in isolation. But I think actually Sunday, even for myself, it was a pretty humid day regardless, so it was pretty tough conditions. But I think all those guys have all pulled up pretty well, and no doubt they'll be better, I feel like, this weekend with a full week of training leading up to a big game against Collingwood. So that'll be really good for those 10 to 12 guys that came out of that, and hopefully we don't lose any more this week, and we get a little bit more continuity back with training and getting guys sort of almost a full squad back at training, able to do quite a few more drills together and building that, because I feel like the spirit in our team's as good as it has been at the moment. We're not getting the wins at the moment, but spirit's high, and we feel like a really good performance, a four-quarter performance is pretty close and definitely not too far away.
Just on that, I mean, through no fault of your own, maybe WA's probably put in a bit of a harder position at the moment, particularly you guys and the Dockers might go through it at a later stage. But through no fault of your own, you probably had a less than ideal start to the season. As someone that wants that sort of taste of premiership success, how hard is it to have a start like this and then still be motivated when finals, already some people are sort of writing you off with it?
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it is. We can't change the fact that we're 0-3. I've been and all the older guys have been lucky enough to play at a great club that we've played a lot of finals pretty much every year since I've been at the footy club, and played a lot of big games. And this is just a different challenge for probably a lot of us at the moment, where it's only round 3. We're playing some good teams coming up. But we just feel like with a little bit more continuity and a lot of more guys coming back on the track and more guys available in the next coming weeks, that we feel like once we get a lot of those guys back, as well as the improvement from the younger guys, that we're going to start playing some really good, consistent football. So I think at the moment, our good stuff, our good footy is really competitive and up there with some of the really good teams. But when we drop off at the moment, we're conceding quite a few goals, and the gap between our best and worst at the moment is probably too high. So we need to reduce that. We've got a lot of young guys that are coming in at the moment that are getting their first taste of AFL football, and they're going to be so much better in a couple of weeks, a couple of years down the track, when they've had this experience of everything that's happening at the moment, because it's been tough, but those guys are learning so much at the moment, and it is really great to play with young guys. It gives you a bit of a refresher on, the early games of my career and other senior guys. They're parts of their early career, and you get really excited for them, and you really want them to play well and be part of, a winning team. And we haven't won any games this year, obviously, but we feel like we're not too far away.
Last one from me, and then someone else can go. But Adam Simpson was saying that, in adversity, and he's sort of noticed that this year you guys have been tighter than ever. Would you sort of agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I absolutely do. Yeah, I think the spirit and energy within our group at the moment is as good as I've seen. And as I said before, it's not sort of coming on the wins tally at the moment, but I feel like the energy is high within the group. Everyone gets on well with each other, and just with a little bit more continuity and more guys on the track and just a little bit more confidence, I think some good performances are pretty close, and looking forward to that. Hopefully starting against the Collingwood team that are playing really well at the moment and pushed along for almost pretty much the whole game.
G'day, Andrew, Ben from afl.com.au. You just talked about continuity, and that's something Simo talked about after Sunday's game, that the connection with, I think, 38 players having played this season and only 6 guys having played all 3, guys coming and going. How hard has that been to get guys on the same page with the game plan and actually get that continuity?
Oh, I mean, it's no doubt probably not ideal, but we can't do anything about it. We're over pre-season, you try and learn, and we're trying to change a few things with the way we play, just the way it goes every year, and a few new coaches and all that. So that takes a little bit of time anyway. But yeah, I think no doubt it's been tough. But as I said before, I think the experiences that Brady Hoff, Luke Edwards has played, he's played up to 10 games now. Xavier O'Neill's had a shot. Connor West, all these guys are pretty young, mainly through the midfield here, and those guys are going to be so much better down the track for the experiences and lessons I guess they're learning at the moment. And as a senior guy, it's really nice to play, and it's refreshing to play with those guys because they're in all different parts of their career, early stages, but they're forging their way, and no doubt they're going to be better, and we're going to be better for those guys, I guess, having more responsibility at this early part of the year.
And just on the weekend's opponents, Collingwood, they've got obviously the new coach and a bit of a different style this year. What have you made of them?
Yeah, I think they're pretty attacking from what I've seen. They take you on. They love sort of going forward and handballing forward, and it's going to be a challenge for us. We've got to be brave, got to be on the front foot, because otherwise they can make you look pretty silly. And for 3 quarters against Geelong, they were clearly the better team. So they've come a long way, I think, from this time last year with a new coach and all that, and their best players are playing really well at the moment. So we need to improve on obviously quite a few areas that we've struggled with the last few weeks, but we feel like that we're building slowly, and get a few guys back this week, and hopefully building towards a 4-quarter consistent performance.
And just back on you, I think you had a bit of a light one today. That foot injury which kept you out in round 2, how's that feeling?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, Monday, Tuesdays, probably for the last 12 months have been a little bit, I guess as I'm getting older, probably do a little bit less and less, and that's probably going to be the way forward for me going forward. But no, I'm feeling pretty good, and just want to get out there, and whilst there are quite a few senior guys down at the moment, I think it's really important that our senior guys are out there and leading the way as best we can, and teaching those younger guys and I guess giving them lessons to make them catch up to speed a little bit. And yeah, as I did say before, we've got guys that are playing, that are learning as much as guys that have played 50 or 100 games at our footy club. So it's up to us as leaders to be out there as much as we can, and I guess instilling that confidence and belief in those younger guys.
Hey Andrew, Ben from the West here. Just touching on that as well, as one of the older heads yourself, what has your advice been for some of the younger guys who maybe haven't been through this sort of, adversity or this start of a season before?
I think it's all about enjoyment, really. I mean, the last sort of few weeks and even the last few years, it's sort of a good reminder that you might as well enjoy what you're doing. Sometimes it feels a little bit serious, and sometimes it's all pretty consuming, AFL football. But if you can step back and just relax and enjoy what you're doing, I think as you get older throughout your career, it sort of maybe becomes more and more consuming. So you try, as a senior guy like myself, I try and remember how I felt the first couple of years, where it doesn't feel like it means probably as much as what it does for me now. So I think those guys are good. That they give that enthusiasm and that energy through just debuting, seeing their family in the rooms before the game. That kind of stuff really gets us senior guys up and about and wanting to do our bit for those guys, so they can, I guess, enjoy what they're doing and learn a few lessons, I guess, along the way.
From a playing and on-field perspective, what do you guys at the moment kind of see as the big keys to turning it around? Obviously, you will get reinforcements back when players, get back up to full fitness. But from a, playing perspective, have there been any tweaks you guys are looking to make, which you think will help you guys down the line?
I think it's more just consistency. I think the effort is absolutely there, and everyone's having a red hot go. I think, as I mentioned before, just the drop off in between quarters and then over a stretch of a full game is quite big at the moment. So we need to reduce that. Yes, we've got a few young guys, and that brings a little bit of probably inconsistency naturally. But if we can reduce that gap and start building sort of closer towards a 4-quarter performance, I think the stuff we are doing well, sort of around the footy quite a bit and at stoppage as well, I think it's going to put us in good stead to play well this weekend and to play well every game moving forward. So, yeah, limiting the gap between our periods of, I guess, playing well and dominance versus, I guess, other teams the other way, getting on top of us for large periods.